Welcome back, and thank you for staying with Inside Politics. Straight to your call, and we already have a fast caller on the line, calling from Nairobi, Habib Omar. Thank you for your time. Good afternoon. Briefly, your comments.
Today, your analysts are doing very well.
Thank you. Thank you.
The lady had added more flavor in it. But having said that, I would say that our politicians are becoming loose, and they are speaking, like talking about the election will be rigged. That is not good for our country.
True.
The other one maybe I should mention is that a project, Raila wouldn't be a project. For one thing, we have had him coming in Kanu. First of all, he was in Kanu when he joined hands with Kanu. When President Uhuru Kenyatta was nominated by Moi, or Moi was his favorite to be the president, and they were together.
Okay.
He went his way. The same thing would apply to this one. If anything happens in the middle, let me tell you, and believe you me, if anything happens in the middle here, and the Raila, something maybe happens to Kenyatta and decides not to follow Raila will still go his way. That is how he plays. He has been. Remember, one time he was a member of parliament for Langata. When he decided to leave for Kenya, he just left and formed another political party. So he's a person who creates himself now, and every time he comes in politics, he has something to say.
All right.
Something to take to the people.
Okay, Habib, right there. Our first call on the line. Allow me to cut you short so we can equally get other callers, but we definitely appreciate your input, Habib. So perhaps Raila has transcended that particular state project tag, according to him. Let's cross over to our next caller, who's calling from Kwale. Lucina Sakong is joining us. Good afternoon. If you can keep your comments brief, we'd appreciate it. How are you doing?
Doing well, Jesse. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, first of all, I will want to be very brief as you have requested. And therefore, I want to start by addressing my sister, Manyeni Susan.
Yes.
And I want to say, dear Susan, William Samoei Ruto was made into politics by the late Professor of Politics, Daniel Rotich Arap Moi. Without not wanting to see William Ruto face to face. Raila Odinga appointed Ruto in the cabinet in 2007, after 2007 election. Raila Odinga sacked William Samoei Ruto. Ruto joined with President Uhuru Kenyatta and they formed the Jubilee government. Uhuru is finishing on a very sad note with you, telling us that Ruto is not the right man for this country. Dear Susan, there is no way the three gentlemen can be wrong and only William Samoei Ruto is right. These people are basically telling Kenyans about who dangerous this man is. And the earlier you listen to us, to that, the better. Let us not learn from our own skin. Number two, the recognition has sent us a very big message that there is no money in professionalism. There is money in politics. And that is a sad thing to our nation as a country. We have made politics a very lucrative than professionalism. And therefore, everybody today, if you see young graduates coming from the university, all of them want to become MCS. Because they don't want to become teachers and they earn 30,000.
Okay.
Now, and the last point is, Raila Amolo Odinga has always been our project. And Uhuru Kenyatta has just realized that the people of Kenya have been right. And let me join them so that we can finish this project.
Okay.
And I can tell you with that one will be well done.
All right, Lucina Sekong right there. Interesting sentiments, most of them directed to Susan, who'll have a chance of reply a little bit later on. Thank you for your observations. Let's cross over to our next caller, calling from Naivasha, Fred Langata, familiar name. Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm fine, Roger.
Yes, kindly proceed briefly.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to say a few things about what you have discussed there in studio.
Yes.
I wonder why Kenya Kwanza is so afraid when they hear that Uhuru Kenyatta is going to join the taxation politics in this country. If they know that when the president engages in succession politics, the candidate that is going to support is going to fail, why are they afraid? And you need to know that President Uhuru Kenyatta has got financial resources, he has the state money, and he also has the influence. And when Uhuru Kenyatta says that he wants to support Raila Amolo Odinga for president, he meant good for Kenyans. Because President Uhuru Kenyatta has worked with both William Ruto, he has also worked with Raila Odinga, and what Uhuru Kenyatta wants is that he wants to leave this country to a person who is going to take care of the public resources. Somebody who is not going to steal Kenyan money. Somebody who is going to take this country to the next level. And on the issue of cabinet secretaries resigning so that they join politics, you have also seen that most of the cabinet secretaries and civil servants who have resigned are from the deputy president William Ruto side. If they knew that William Ruto is the person going to win next general election, they ought to have remained in government so that when Ruto becomes the president, they can just remain in power. But what they know is that William Ruto is going to lose, and they don't want also to go home. They want to remain as politicians when William Samoei Ruto is in.
All right, Fred Langat, thank you so much. Allow me to cut you short. Our caller from Naivasha, interesting sentiments right there, and perhaps, according to him, it's a stamp of authority in the Azimio side in terms of those resignations or not. Let's cross over to Nakuru right now. Our last caller is on the line, Bernard Kibet. Good afternoon, Kibet. How are you?
Good. Fine, Jesse. How are you?
I'm great. Kindly give us your sentiments briefly.
I think the question that you raised is Raila project. And the answer is yes. In a civilized democracy like the one we have in Kenya, the presidency is a symbol of national unity. And we require the president to provide a level and a flat ground for all the candidates. But basing on the remarks that President made some time, he openly endorsed Raila Odinga as his preferred candidate in the coming election. So I think one thing that the president has to know is that he has no delegated authority. Number two is that if you give one candidate a state function, a priority, or you give him a platform during a state function, I think you will have also disadvantaged the other candidates, and I think that is not in order. Finally, basing again on the remarks by Sabina Chege,
yes,
I think that was wrong for what she said, and she actually, in a simple sense, we are saying, she actually splitted on the clientele soup, and she has to coil back and apologize.
Okay. Okay, Bernard, I think your point is definitely across, even as he reacts to Sabina Chege's sentiments. Remember, she'll definitely have a date with IEBC and clear out what she mentioned. Bernard Kibet right there calling from Nakuru County. We appreciate your input. I'll get to take a look at some of the tweets a little bit later on, but let me get the final thoughts from our panelists. A minute or so, please, as we give our final conclusions. I'll start with ladies first, the lady in the group.
Oh, yeah.
Kindly. Yes.
Thank you so much, and I also want to appreciate the callers, especially Habib and Lucina and Kibet. I want to say this. I still hold the view that Raila is a project, a state house project, and Ruto is a people's project. And why am I saying this is that when we repealed the independent constitution, we were saying no to imperial presidents, we are saying no to perpetual presidents, and we are saying no to the misuse of office. And this is what we are seeing repeating itself. And I want to confidently say that they say history repeats itself, and indeed political history does repeat itself. So 202, we are likely to see another 202, where Uhuru will say, I did everything I could. You know, even hosting people in the State House, giving you accompanying, you know, you asking you to accompany me to inspect projects and stuff, but kama ilikata. So I just want to also just point out this one, that, you know, it's not realistic that Jubilee as a party, even if it was not to be Ruto, who is now the principal assistant to Uhuru, that they couldn't find someone within the ranks of Jubilee Party to vie as a president to have this continuity.
Okay.
I think the motive is very clear, that Uhuru still wants to rule through backdoor. He does not want to go home.
Interesting. Let's cross over to Akili Echesa. Your final comment, briefly.
Thank you very much. And I begin from where my sister Susan Mangeni has left, and remind her, sadly so, that Raila Odinga has been the people's project from the year 2007. Fortunate enough, this people's project tag will end in August this year, when Raila Odinga will be elected as the 5th president of the Republic. To our father figure Uhuru Kenyatta, he is a politician sui generis. Sui generis to mean unique in his own making. In 2007, he became the first leader of official opposition to abandon that particular seat and join the government of the day and ensure Kibaki's re-election. In 2022, he has done it again. He becomes the first sitting head of state to endorse the official leader of opposition, and if history is repeating itself, that particular leader of official opposition, Raila Odinga, will become president again. Thank you.
Interesting. Well, let's cross over to Dismas Mukua. Your final comment.
Those are amazing remarks. I think as a President Kenyatta goes back to campaign mode, there are several questions that he needs to answer. And Kenyans will be asking him. Now that again he's throwing himself in the ring, but he's not a candidate proper, but he'll be in the ballot with Raila Odinga, people will ask him that when you took over from President Kibaki 10 years later, have you improved the metrics, especially the poverty rate? Because when he took over from Kibaki, poverty rate was 38%. The latest figure suggests that we are at 53%. So people will be asking those questions. And then secondly, when you're talking about people's projects or State House projects or Uru's projects, this tag does not matter. What we must ask ourselves is that if you are the people's projects, are you going to serve Mura's interest? If you are a State House project or Kenyatta's project, are you going to serve Mura's interest? At the end of the day, that is the main question. Therefore, all voters in Kenya must break from the tribal lords, from these shackles of irrational and emotional voting, and they vote with their interest in mind. It's now very clear that the president may come from your village, or an MCA may come from your village, or indeed a governor from your village, but if they're not loyal to our national and public interest, it will be a complete waste of time.
Okay, Chachi.
I want to address myself to certain political points that are made, including in this show, that are aimed at exploiting the ignorance of the public and their statements made by politically ignorant people. For example, a statement that has been said before, that people do not eat roads. I think anyone who says a thing like that is more backward than the pygmies living in the Congo forest and have not visited the modern 21st century at all. What do I mean? In 1956, the United States expanded its railway network and its road network. When it did so, to this day, until now Biden has the new infrastructure bill, the United States has dominated. If you were to take time and to study what bedevils Africa, you will discover that our connectiveness, not only to countries near us, but within our own region, is one of the biggest hindrances to the economic growth of this country. Secondly, it is also ignorant to say that it is ruling by the back door to wish that your political party continues to exist and plays a significant role in the coming government. I want to put it to you that every politician and every political entity exists for the simple reason of attaining and acquiring power. And therefore, to ignorantly say here that people want to rule by the back door when you're busy campaigning for someone who also wants to rule by hook or crook is complete hubris, and it's lying to the Kenyan people. And therefore, if Uhuru Kenyatta wants Jubilee to continue, let me tell you, I praise him. Because this country is in desperate and dire need of political parties that have meaning. And therefore, I invite UDA to bring itself to a meeting and bring itself to the realization that the world moved beyond wheelbarrows and they need to upgrade their thinking into the 21st century.
Okay, this salvo's fired. I wish I could reply, but I'm the neutral arbiter right here. Thank you so much. Oh, Susan, good. 30 seconds.
Susan is itching to reply.
Do we have the time?
Yes. Susan is itching to reply.
Okay, I'm told we don't have time. Allow us.